Day. What's happening, Facebook and YouTube? I am Kendrick, the sports guy, and guess what? It is our Sunday sports show. Again, I am your host, Kendrick, the sports guy. I hope you all are having a great weekend. It's been Juneteenth weekend. It's also a special day today for all my fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. I see my Wi-Fi over here is trying to trip, but we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. Let me say this real quick before we get into it. All right, Wi-Fi, you come in here, sit down, don't touch nothing, and be quiet. Damn it, it's Father's Day. We can't have this nonsense today. Okay, I think my Wi-Fi has heard what I said. Again, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the gentlemen out there in YouTube and Facebook. I hope you have a great day today. We're gonna be in and out. We're gonna talk about fathers and their relationships with their professional athlete children. That's going to be the gist of our show. I'm going to give you a couple of news and notes from the NBA, NFL, but we're going to talk about some of the prominent fathers and some of their children that followed in their footsteps. But before we do that, make sure you like, subscribe to the channels. That's TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle if you have not already done so. Make sure you comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Don't be in the bushes. Don't hide. I want to see you. I want you to interact with me. Make sure you comment and make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. Again, that is Kendrick Sports Hustle as well as TFG Sports Media. Again, I'm live on TikTok as well. If you have not followed me on TikTok, it's Kendrick Henderson 51. And we got quite a few people already in the chat over on TikTok. So go over there and follow me. Doesn't cost you a dime. So again, today is a special show. It's our regular show, but it's a special Father's Day edition. We're going to be showing some love to some of these fathers. Just like on Mother's Day, I did a special Mother's Day show where we show love to the mothers as well. And we got a comment already over here on where she come. I think that's my sister CC. How you doing? Oh, she's watching me on Facebook. Thank you for watching today, and I appreciate the love, CC. She wishes me a happy Father's Day, as well as all the other fathers that will be in the chat. So let's get down to it. Let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Go Bears. I got people already. Bears, I see you. Boy, it's a lot of Bears fans that follow me on TikTok. That's all I can tell you. I can tell you that. Real tough. They be in my live streams on TikTok real tight. But then, you know what? Then my Packer fans show up too as well. Go Pack, go, baby. I see you, Parker. Thank you. Again, if you're just joining me, the chat on TikTok, I want to wish all the fathers in the chat a happy Father's Day to you. All right, let's get down to it. Let's go ahead and give you some NFL news and notes real quick before we get to the topic of the show today. As far as NFL notes, on yesterday, the New Orleans Saints signed running back Cam Akers to a one-year deal. They already have a crowded running back room. That is the Saints with Alvin Kamara. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well and a couple of other running backs. So the Saints did sign running back Cam Akers to a one-year deal. The Bengals are dealing with a mess. We already know they're dealing with their defensive end that wants a new deal. It's not Hutchinson. I can't remember his last name. But anyway, is it Hutchinson? Yeah, I believe it's Hutchinson. He's looking for a new deal. Well, their first-round draft pick, Shamar Stewart, out of Texas A&M, the 17th pick in the draft, he walked out of a mandatory minicamp because he's not happy with the language in his contract. So the Bengals are dealing with that as well. So we'll see what happens with that. The Bengals are really trying to come off that, disappointing season where they tried to get it back on track toward the end, but weren't able to. So we'll see what happens with those two because they need both of those defensive ends. Shamar Stewart was a stud at Texas A&M, by the way. So they're working on that, see if they can come to an agreement. Also, 31-year-old Tyreek Hill, the outstanding wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, he ran a 10.15 at a track meet on Friday in California. And if you've been keeping up, he's already challenged the world's fastest man, the Olympic gold medalist in 100 meters, Noah Lyles. He's challenged him to a race, but Tyreek Hill ran an impressive 10.15 in 100 meters in California on Friday. So will those two meet up in this challenge? we'll see. Supposedly there was going to be a race that was going to happen sometime this summer, but we don't know if and when that will happen, and we'll see what happens with that. Carol says, "Yep, it's me." Okay, CC. You on? Oh, hey, you on YouTube too? I see you, CC. Appreciate the love. That's what's up. My good brother Lamar is in the house. Hey, happy Pappy's Day to you, my good brother. Hey, if you don't know who Lamar Falk is, make sure you go check him out. Follow him, the Real Estate Insider on YouTube. He's also on TikTok. Go check out my good brother Lamar Falk on YouTube as well as TikTok and on Facebook, the Real Estate Insider. Also the media. He does it all, man. So go check out my good brother over there. So those are some of the notes. Again, like I say, will this Tyreek Hill and Noah Lyles race happen? Don't know, but I think this is just my thoughts. I think that I don't think Tyreek Hill has a chance against Noah Lyles. Go Pack, go! I see you, Ego. So we'll see about that. Also, the late Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay, he will be inducted into the Colts Ring of Honor during the team season opener, which is September 7th. Mr. Irsay died May the 21st at the age of 66. We still don't know the cause of his death. That has not been released. I appreciate the file over here. Chad Wrestling, appreciate that. But his daughter is now the principal owner of the Colts. So again, the late Jim Irsay will go into the Colts Ring of Honor. So those are some of your NFL news and notes. Now let's get to some NBA stuff. We know the NBA Finals is tied up 2-2 in that series. The Thunder was able to go into Indiana and get that game 4, 111-104. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put a 35-piece on the Pacers. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Dallas 88. Appreciate that. Appreciate the gift badge, too. So Game 5 will tip off tomorrow night in OKC. Again, this series is tied 2-2. Some other NBA notes. Kevin Durant. It's not a secret that most likely he will be traded. According to reports of ESPN, Durant's preferred trade destination now is the Miami Heat, the San Antonio Spurs, or the Houston Rockets. Now, according to this report that was on ESPN this morning, Durant is willing to commit to a long-term extension if he is traded to those three teams. Now, Durant is on an expiring $54.7 million deal for this upcoming season. Now, he will turn 37 in September. So don't know how many more years Durant is going to go. But again, Durant is probably most likely going to be traded. His preferred destinations, again, is the Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, and the Houston Rockets. And speaking of trades, the trades went down this morning with the Memphis Grizzlies. They traded Desmond. They are trading. This hadn't been made official, but they are trading Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for KCP, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Cole Anthony, if you don't know who Cole Anthony is, that is the son of Greg Anthony, former running Rebel, played for the Knicks for a few years and the Trailblazers. And 4 unprotected picks and 1 first round. So that's the way that is going from Grizzlies this round picks and 1 first round pick swap. So we're going to see what happens with this. So that's some of your NBA news and notes. So now let's get down to it. Again, it's Father's Day. Again, happy Father's Day to all the great fathers out there. And let's talk about some of these athletic fathers and their children that some of them followed in their footsteps. And there's quite a few of them, you know. The first one that came to mind for me was Coach Prime, Hall of Fame cornerback, or the 49ers, the Falcons, the Cowboys. Coach Prime, he has 2 sons. That's NFL now. Obviously, you know, Shiloh Sanders signed a free agent deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shadur, you know, there was all the limelight was on him because of him dropping in the draft, where he's on the Cleveland Browns roster right now. Possibly he's going to be the starter. And he also, you know, Deion Jr., a lot of people forget that his oldest son actually played a little college football at SMU. He played, I think, 2 years there. So Coach Prime was able to put his 3 sons in college to follow his footsteps, playing football. and his daughter as well. And I don't want to mispronounce her name. He has two daughters, Deandra, who does media stuff, but his youngest daughter, Shalomai, I probably mispronounced the name. She is playing basketball at Alabama A&M. So Coach Prime, his sons, two of his sons, they are in the NFL as we speak, man. And that says a lot. And we all know Coach Prime is what type of athlete he was. He could have been a Hall of Famer in baseball if he would have just concentrated on baseball. A Hall of Famer in NFL. Was a track athlete, and he did it all. To pass that on to his sons and to put them in a position to possibly follow their dreams and at the next level, I think that's every father's dream. So Coach Prime is definitely he set the bar high. A lot of these fathers set the bar high for their athletes, for their children, to follow their dreams. Now, now did they pressure? Do these fathers pressure their kids into following in their footsteps? I don't think so. I think they allowed them to be who they wanted to be, and they just wanted to be an athlete or be like dad, as they say. So we got to put Coach Prime on that list and see. We'll see what happens. They're saying good things about Shiloh down in Tampa Bay. He's probably going to make that team. Again, he signed as a free agent. As far as Shadur, he's at a full quarterback room, and he could be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns week 1. He's looked good according to reports. So we're going to see what happens with them. And we're definitely going to follow the Sanders brothers through their NFL career. Let's talk about Dale Curry, the father of Steph Curry and Seth Curry, two of his sons in the league. If you don't remember Dale Curry, he was a sharpshooter for the Charlotte Hornets. That's who he played the majority of his career with. And he was able to get his sons, his Seth's son and Seth, which is the youngest of the Curry brothers. He went to Duke. Steph went to Davidson. And Steph actually, I think Seth had more of the headlines than Steph Curry because he went to Davidson. So I see Skol is in the house. I see you, Vikings. So Dale Curry, his two boys. I remember I've seen some pics, some still photos of Steph Curry being a little shorty with Dale at practice. So they grew up around the NBA. And for Steph Curry to become one of the most, if not, I ain't gonna say if not, he is the most prolific three-point shooter ever in the game, to win 4 titles with the Golden State Warriors, and to be in the talk as to being one of the greatest of all time. I know as a father, I'm sure Dale Curry is proud of both his boys. Seth Curry has carved out a nice little career for himself in the NBA as well, and they both are in the league. And he has a daughter too that actually played college volleyball at Ellen University, Seidel. So Dale Curry, shout out to you. Another father that was able to his sons were able to follow in his footsteps and make it to the NBA level. Let's talk about the Manning family. When you talk about quarterbacks in the NFL, you got to talk about Archie Manning and the Mannings, because I think we can say that they are probably quarterback royalty when you think about it. Archie Manning played all those years for the New Orleans Saints, got busted up. Then his 3 boys, Cooper, Peyton, and Eli. Cooper probably would have played it in the league, but he had a injury his freshman year going to Ole Miss. Then he gave up football. That is, Cooper did. But then, the younger brothers, Peyton and Eli, they picked up the slack. How many families can say they got two sons, or fathers that say they got 2 sons that won Super Bowls? Eli won 2. Peyton won 2, and Eli, I believe, won 2 as well. So, that's definitely a proud father moment. You can't write a better script to that. And I remember reading where Archie said that he never pressured his boys to going into to want to play quarterback. He said, I didn't want to, it wasn't any pressure on them. He said they picked that up on their own. And so, again, you got quarterback royalty coming out of the Manning family, and then the grandson, Arch, is going to be the starter at Texas, and most likely is going to be in the league here in the next couple of years. So we got to give a shout out to Archie Manning. What about Mr. Williams, Richard Williams? Yeah, that Richard Williams. You remember the movie King Richard? Did you see that? We're talking about the father of tennis greats Venus and Serena Williams. And I think we can say that Serena Williams is probably the greatest women's tennis player of all time. Richard Williams was able to train both his daughters in Compton, California, which we all know the history of Compton, the gangs and all that neighborhood, and being a black man trying to train two young black girls in a sport that's somewhat expensive, and then to have a lot of people that look like us in it. You got to give a shout out to Richard Williams because he had no idea. He didn't know anything about tennis, but he knew that his daughters had something. He knew they had it, and he cultivated it, he watered it, he planted it, and he watched them grow. Now, you might not agree with some of his methods because Richard Williams he didn't bar none. He was in your face. He told it like a T.I. is. So you got to give a shout out to Richard Williams and what he did to produce, to coach, to help his young daughters become the great tennis players that they became. Again, Serena Williams, and I'm not throwing no shade at Venus either because she wasn't no slouch either. But Serena Williams is definitely the greatest woman tennis player of all time. Let's talk about Ken Griffey Jr. I'm sorry, Sr. and Jr. And I just found out today, I did some research. I didn't know there was another brother by the name of Craig Griffey who actually played in the minors. He never made it to the big leagues, but Craig Griffey is the brother of Ken Griffey Jr. He played in the minors for a couple of years. But Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr., they were the first father-son to ever play on the same roster in any sport. And, I think as a father, I have 3 children of my own. As a father, I think the one thing that you always want from your children, especially if they follow in your footsteps, you want them to be 10 times better than you were. And again, Ken Griffey Sr. was a good baseball player. I don't know if we would consider him great, but Junior, one of the greatest left-handed hitters of all time, one of the most athletic baseball players of all time. And to be able to get into the league and play with your father, I'm sure as a son, that's a dream come true too. And to see them two play on the same team, that was amazing. And again, I think that's every father's dream, is to be able maybe to do something with his son, especially if they are in the same profession. So they were the first to do it. Again, Ken Griffey Jr., again, I think he is, when you talk about swings, he has the sweetest swing ever in my mind when it comes to left-handed hitters. I think he is has the greatest swing of all time. So Ken Griffey Sr., his 2 sons, Ken Griffey Jr., Hall of Famer, Craig Griffey. Again, I did not know there was another Griffey son, but he played in the minors. He wasn't as accomplished as his brother, but he was able to make it to the minor leagues. And let's talk about Mr. LeVar Ball. And he had his critics. Let's go, just get that out the way. And I was one of his critics when he first made it on the scene. I thought he was a little bit too loud. I thought he was a little bit too was demanding too much, and for his sons hadn't done anything. He was putting a bullseye on their back. But then as I look back at his process, I understand as a father, man, he just wanted his sons to be in control of their own destiny. If you don't know, LeVar Ball has 3 sons, 2 in the league. Lonzo, who was drafted, I think, number 2 by the Lakers. LiAngelo, who had a couple of runs in the NBA. He never made it to the NBA. He was in the G League for a minute. And LaMelo, in my mind, the youngest of the Ball brothers, who I think is the most talented. But he was able to control the narrative for his own sons. He was able to put them in position. So you can say what you want about Big Baller Brand. Me personally, I had my thoughts on it. I thought that shoe was a little bit expensive. If you wanted, but I get it. He wanted his boys to have their own shoe, their own company, and to invest in themselves. And I got to give a salute to LeVar Ball. He had a health issue a couple of months ago. He had to have his right foot amputated. But I've seen him since, and he's still bigging up. He's still supporting his boys. And as a father, that's all you want. And I salute him. I salute LeVar Ball for being that father to say, you know what, we're going to create our own lane. Yeah, we could have took money from Nike. Yeah, we could have took money from Adidas. We could have did all that. But let's own our own intellectual property and create our own. Now that hit a speed bump. Let's go. The Big Baller brand, it didn't go exactly as planned. But again, you know what? It's better to fail to try than not try and don't fail. That's the way I look at that. So I got to give a shout out to LeVar Ball. You might not like his methods or how he did things, but he was there every step of the way with his son. So shout out to him. And we got to mention LeBron James. There's been a lot of controversy about Bronny James being drafted by the Lakers in the second round, and he shouldn't be there. And it's nepotism. That became the new word that everybody wanted to throw around. Nepotism this, nepotism that. But quite frankly, again, as a father of three, if I was in the position to put my children in a position that could benefit them, of course, I'm going to do that as their father. As long as I'm living, I'm going to do that. And I ain't got a problem with nepotism because that's what it is. If you work hard to create something to make it easier for your offspring, for your seeds, why not put them in a position? But again, you gotta give a shout out to LeBron with LeBron James Jr. and Bryce James, the youngest boy. He is coming soon. He's going to Arizona. He's committed to Arizona. Bryce James, and he's probably going to be a pretty good NBA player, I think. Bryce James, I think, is going to be. And I'm not throwing no shade at Bronny. Me personally, I thought Bronny needed some more time in college, But his father was really wanting him to be one. He wanted to play with his son. I get that. I thought, in my opinion, LeBron put a little bit undue pressure on Bronny, in my opinion. But hey, as a father, sometimes, we may not get it right. Sometimes we may be working out of a place of emotions rather than logic. But Bronny, is he going to be a great NBA player? Will he be his father? No, he won't. I think he'll be good, but I don't think he'll be great. So those are some of the fathers, and their sons that follow their footsteps. Floyd Mayweather Sr., got to mention him. You know who his son is, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Justin Mayweather. They followed in their father's footsteps in the boxing world. So I just wanted to give a shout out and talk about the fathers and their offsprings that followed in their footsteps, because that's a lot of pressure, especially, again, when you think about Coach Prime and his sons. That's a lot of pressure on Shedeur. That's a lot of pressure on Shiloh. The one thing that doesn't really it eases it a little bit is they're not playing the same position as their dad. That makes it a little bit easier. Now, if Shiloh would have tried to play cornerback or a Shedeur, I think that would have been a little bit more pressure. But with them, even though they playing football, they play in the same sport they pops is, they play in totally different positions. So that kind of eases the pressure on them as well. So again, this has been my Father's Day edition of on Sunday Sports Rap. Again, I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. I want to say, again, happy Father's Day to all the great fathers out there. I hope you all enjoy your day. I hope the ladies or the sons and the daughters in your life take care of Pops today. Y'all make sure he eat good, he chill good. We don't really have no sports on, so it ain't really no sports to watch today. But make sure he take it easy. Give him, if he want his favorite dish, go ahead and make it for him. If you want his favorite drink, give it to him. Bears are sweeping the Packers. Nope, get off the gas. That ain't happening. The Bears going to be sweeping, but it ain't going to be the Packers. They're going to be weeping. So, yeah, I had to get a little dig in. I got people over here on my TikTok. Got some Bears fans over here coming in there being disrespectful. But I love it. I love talking back to them. And I got to say, I got to give a shout out to my own three kids. First of all, let me give a shout out to my granddaughter, Anila Mitchell, as you can see on my shirt over here. That's my granddaughter, and that's my late mother right there. I got to give a shout out to my grandbaby. She bought me a Happy Father's Day card. She calls me Pop Pop, but the card says Pawpaws. She don't call me Pawpaw. I taught her to call me Pop Pop when she was like 1 year old. But she bought me a Happy Father's Day card, and it says, Papa, There's no heart as loving as yours. Our family is so lucky and grateful to have you. That is from my granddaughter, Anila Mitchell, who I love with every fiber of my being. She bought her pop Happy Father's Day card, and she gave me a $25 gift certificate to Applebee's, which I know her mother, my daughter Candace, had something to do with that. So I want to tell my grandbaby Anila, Pop love you very much, and I thank you for this gift. I don't know what my world would be like without you, as well as my three children. Kendrick Jr., Candace, my only daughter, and my baby son, Kentrail, my oldest seed, who's named after me. He got me some Packer gear that's coming. It didn't make it today. He was a little upset. I said, that's all. It's okay, KJ. I call him KJ. That's my oldest. But he said he got me some Packer stuff that's coming. So next week, hopefully, I will be able to debut my new Packer stuff that came from my oldest, Kendrick Jr., who, by the way, my kids, I have three, 2 boys and a girl. Kendrick Jr. is 32. My baby girl, Candace, is 30. And my youngest seed, Kentrail, he is 28. So those are my babies. So I want to tell my babies, your pops love you. And, my biggest accomplishment of all the things I've done in my life, my best accomplishment is wearing the title of father, of daddy. My sons call me dad, and my daughter calls me daddy. That's the biggest accomplishment I'm going to ever have in my life. And I don't take that for granted. I love my 3 children with every being in me. And I don't know what my life would be like without them. So I wear my Father's Day title with pride. And I want to say this, I want to pass this on too before I get out of here to my fathers out there. Again, happy Father's Day to you all. But I want to say this to the fathers. I know sometimes we feel like we unappreciated, because we do stuff a lot of times that our seeds don't even know, or we've been dealt with. But don't give up on keep yourself encouraged. But I want to say this to the fathers too, and I'm speaking from my own experience. I want to give you, and I heard this on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Jeff Johnson, he said this, and he said, and I'm quoting, he says, pass on your wisdom, not your trauma, to your sons and daughters. That was Jeff Johnson said that on Ricky Smiley Show. Because I think a lot of us, we dealt with trauma by not maybe having it growing up with our own fathers, and I can attest to that. I had trauma not growing up with my father and knowing who he was. But before you become a father, make sure you heal. Make sure you get counseling. Make sure you do that, because do not pass on your own trauma to your children, because that is not a good thing. So get healed, get counseling. I did. My father, who's no longer here, he passed away in October 2023. We didn't have a relationship. Our relationship was complicated. We didn't have a relationship till I was in my 40s, and I had daddy issues. There were some things that I had to deal with. But my pops and I were able to make peace before he transitioned. He passed away in October 23. We weren't buddies. We didn't talk all the time, but we were able to make peace. So I want to say this to any man out there that may have issues in relation with your father, whatever relationship, or women too, but this is specifically fathers today. Get healing and get counseling and make peace with your dad. Sometimes they had trauma and stuff that they'd never dealt with, that they didn't get healing from. And so while there's breath in your body, man, y'all make peace. Because it ain't going to be for them, it's for you. So you can heal and you can be a better version of yourself. That's just a little bit of words of wisdom from Kendrick, the sports guy. So again, this has been my special edition Happy Father's Day show to all the fathers out there. Again, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. The next couple of weeks, I'm going to be a little bit busy. I won't be live on this coming Saturday on TikTok, guys, or the following Saturday. I got some things going on. But I may be able to record the show and it'll premiere on YouTube and Facebook. I'm going to see how that goes. But I probably won't be live next 2 weeks, but I'll be in and Facebook as well as the TikTok. But as far as live, I probably won't be live for the next 2 weeks. But you never know. We'll see. So again, I'm gonna get out of here. Again, I'm Kendrick the Sports Guy. I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, to my fathers out there, happy Father's Day to you. Don't be discouraged, be encouraged. Again, remember this: pass on your wisdom, not your trauma, to your babies. All right. So that's a wrap for me here. We'll see you guys on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.